Hi, I'm Liz Cully, and welcome back to Cool, Cool, Cool. Each week, I give you a glimpse into what I think is cool and chat with a ton of people that are definitely cool. No topic is off bounds unless, I guess, it's not cool. Welcome to Cool, Cool, Cool. So today's episode is really, it's something. Quei Tann is somebody that was on my previous podcast. She is an incredible actress, now comedian, which we'll very much get into. Podcaster. I was on her show, series regular. I mean, the research was out of control. We will talk about that today. But what I love about Quei is that not only is she really, really talented, but she's also really smart. And she does not let me get away with a goddamn thing. And we cover everything today. We cover the SAG strike, how she feels about it as an actor, what she's kind of having to do from a work perspective, her process for comedy. It's definitely a fun episode. And I really, really recommend you check out our episode, but also her other episodes with some great actors, because she is something else.
Does it sound so good because I turned on the air because I'm hot now that I'm looking at you? I'm hot.
You better quit it. I know I'm not your type, but a girl can dream.
Oh, and I would be your type, but too bad that I transitioned. I'm not a black man who plays sports.
Oh my, you're stupid.
And if that was the case, you would have left your wife for me?
Oh my God, you're so stupid. I swear to God. You, first of all, we have to because hopefully my full interview with you on series regular is coming out. Your original trailer drop was so good because you left us all like I don't know. You could potentially go work at the CIA. Your deep dive was out of control.
I'm sorry, you said CAA and not CIA.
I did?
You did. I definitely saw what I heard.
Well, you could work at CAA too. I hear they're hiring. People are dropping like flies over there.
Oh.
Wow. No, I was shook. How did you, what is your investigation, tactics on the guests on your show?
Okay, so I love that you're asking this. Amazing question. So my background is as an actor. And as an actor, what I want to do is I want to do as much research about whoever I'm playing and use that so that I have all these different things to pull from emotionally. And typically I'm playing imaginary characters or characters that were made up. And so what then I do is I research kind of the things I imagine about their life, like where they went to school or what their dreams are. One of the last characters I played in a movie I did for Blumhouse, I was like, okay, well, this character, they keep writing that she likes fashion. So I'm going to say that she went to the new school. We talked about that because you also went to the new school.
I sure did.
And so, so I was like, okay, so she went to the new school. And then what are some fashion awards that she might want to aspire to. And I think CDFA is one of them. Mm-hmm. Rihanna won.
Just happened last night.
Oh, it did? Oh my gosh, it's so crazy in bringing this up. I had no idea. And then I make a vision board and stuff. So my process of researching all these people up was that, one, I really just had so much time on my hands because I, just an actor and I had some reserves at that time. And I started researching people early. I researched very quickly. And it was even.
Yeah, because I begged to come, just so the listeners know. Quei was like, who should come on my podcast? And I was like, me, bitch. And she was like, okay, fine. I got that slot.
I thought that was so amazing. One, because I was told by my cameramen who own the studio where I record at, they were saying that I should collaborate with some people who have podcasts. And I think that's a great idea. And you were saying that we could swap, and I'm happy to be swapping with you.
Yeah, here we are. The swapping is great. And I have talked about your show. Well, I talked about being on your show on my Patreon because I do just episodes for the Patreon members. And then I've talked about you. I think the reason why it's good to work with other podcasters is because we do end up talking about our life. So that was a hilarious experience for me. Obviously, you were on Scissoring Isn't a Thing. So we've worked together in the past. But like, I think when your studio heads were saying, or whatever, guys who were very lovely, by the way, were saying that, it's because it is nice. Like, I have discovered so many podcasts by listening to people in, you know what I mean? Like interview podcasters. And quite frankly, like celebrities don't move the needle ever. Like you would think they do on podcasts, but they're pretty reserved. And I think a lot of times podcasters, they understand what people want to listen to. So that's why I was like, let me be on this show, Quei.
Yeah. I mean, it was great. I mean, honestly, your interview is totally one of my favorites. And it's because you're so funny.
No, I was shook the whole time. I was like, am I going to get fired from my fucking job? You were so, but I mean, but you're also an actor. Like you're great because you played it straight. So I didn't know what in the fucking universe was happening. It's great. Give her a fucking Between Two Ferns. I'm telling you, you have to have a show. You are so good. You're so good. And I've seen the other interviews. Like, you are really great. This might be your thing, baby. This might be it.
Thank you. I mean
obviously, you've been in like huge shows, but also, you know.
No, that means a lot. You know, I'm just starting out, you know, the views are abysmal, right? Like on, you know, but they're growing. I did a YouTube short of our interview together, and it is the highest rated I have so far. It's 2.6 thousand. That is the most I've gotten on YouTube ever. And so
even with all that cursing?
Even with all that cursing, yeah. I mean, I think, but like I went to Patreon Creator Fest, and I was lucky enough to have a private lunch with Zach Kornfeld of the Try Guys.
Oh,
and it was him and another colleague of mine. And he just kind of gave us the whole kind of rundown. And he was like, you know, you could go viral or you can create content that has a lot of impact and, you know, is that your community that you're building loves and wants to come back to. And so that is where my mind is at. And I really thank you for giving me those words of encouragement.
Well, first of all, it's just so good. Like, it's so funny. I mean, I just loved it. And I can't believe you're editing all those videos together. You're so talented. I'm like an old geriatric millennial texting you like, what programs with AI do you use, Quei? You're like, get out of here, lady. Kick rocks. I'm like, I don't know. I just need to know. What do I do?
So with the editing, what I looked forward to was that I knew, and it was hard. Like using stuff like Premiere Pro is hard. It's not user friendly. And I reached out to friends and I said, please teach me how to do this. I reached out to a friend. We went to lunch and we went to a cafe and they taught me how to edit for like 5 hours. And then, and I still didn't know everything. And I still had to call and be like, how do I do this? And then once you kind of get the basics down with Premiere Pro, you can just Google or like YouTube, okay, why is the video kind of grainy? Or like, why is the video like the picture isn't as crisp? And I just figured that out with our short. I had to add a LUT to it. And it like, you know, and I cried trying to figure all this stuff out. But now I have skills. I have like new skills.
Yeah.
And that is something that I'm, you know, really happy about. And I use a lot of AI to edit. So thank God for AI.
I know. Thank God for AI, even though that's one of the sticking points, all of the unions, whether it's the auto workers or WGA or your union SAG is fighting against. Because I think if we figure out how to use AI in a way that helps us, it's great. But if it's to replace us, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously with, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. You know, we definitely want to use AI to better our lives, not to take resources away, of course. I feel like I'm a presidential candidate.
Yeah, you really you are actually this is your presidential speech for 4th grade. And what are those like, I'm dead. Your background is just giving me public school photo day. Like that, I have 1,000 pictures, and I would always pick the blue because remember you could pick like the background, blue or green. Always picked a blue or a green. I'm dead. I mean, it's really amazing. So not only have you taken your skills as an actor into podcasting and hosting a show, which you guys, it'll be in the show link. So go and subscribe, give 5 stars.
Watch
go to the
our
Patreon.
episode specifically. Link our episode specifically. And if I can say before you finish, you were so shook about how I researched you.
Oh yeah.
You put all of your life out there. You have a huge digital footprint.
I know.
I was able to get Liz and the Lifted is up. Have you seen the episode? Because I sent it to you to approve.
Yeah, I did. No, it's
you
wild.
watched?
Yeah, I'm shook. I'm shook.
So you have, and this is something that like social media theorists say that the next generation, not Gen Z, I believe Gen Alpha, that they're going to think like what we have done is by having this huge digital footprint to be very cringe. And they think that they're not going to want to be, they're going to want to have avatars. No, you're not going to be able to research them online, because I was really able to find out not just stuff about you, but stuff about people like Sarni, people that you worked with, your mother, your brothers. I was able to find out
both my brothers. Well, Alex is very fine. I mean, my sister, she's the one you can find. I mean, she's like a public person. I
didn't find out anything about your sister, but I was able to find out enough that could help me kind of build, because I read this book about interviewing. It's called Talk to Me, how to ask questions. And it was he was just saying, do your homework. Don't come in there and expect your guest to be able to carry the interview. Because what happens when your guest doesn't have, when you don't have anything about your guest, they just kind of give you the regular spiel.
Exactly.
Right? My name is Liz. I'm from the Bay Area. I'm an entertainment executive, and I've listened to your other podcasts, not the ones you've created, but the ones you've went on, when you went on Ms. Cracker's show. And I was we're not getting to the meat, and I want to get to the meat. And the other reason why it was easy to research you is because I could just listen to everything while I was driving or while I was washing my dishes. And
No way. What is something so annoying about me that I need to change on my shows? Because I know you'll tell me. What do I have to stop doing?
Something that's so annoying? Well, I really want you to add the video component.
I know. That's financial. I know because you were girl, are we going to be doing video? It's financial. That I'm trying to work on. This is and you were really smart the way that you did. Are you going to do a series or a season? Or are you going to do yeah, that's smart. For me, it's been the video. I did it in New York. I rented a studio for a day. I did back-to-back interviews, which I think you you didn't do. You did one each day, or did you do back-to-back?
I did one. So with the place I was at, I was able to get 6 interviews for about $400, 6 2-hour interviews. And I had the whole month.
2 hours?
2 hours.
That's way less expensive. New York was a grip. And I was tripping because I was dude, listen, it'll all work itself out. It's a tax write. Hello, we all have LLCs. Let's not be stupid here. Let's get on our business here. But I need to do the video. I know. I looked like shit in your interview, though. I will tell you, I was I need Botox. I need to go back on Ozempic immediately.
Oh my gosh,
will never wear shorts ever again. I'm girl, you need a tan. You need to get a spray tan. I don't know what I was wearing. So anyway, it's fine. It was a good lesson.
You're so hot. You're so
nice. I wasn't fishing. I was being honest. I was oh my God, what is wrong? Oh my God, Liz. Pull it together. But yes, okay, video is something I need to do. All right.
But I have seen people who just do maybe they do something like Riverside, and because I see someone who does
this will be video. I do video.
You do video? Yeah, I'm saying, but have you seen it where it's stacked on each other?
Yeah, do you not? Yeah, my Instagram.
Oh, yeah. Oh, exactly.
You mean my videos that you will be in?
Yes, I want to see more.
All right, fine. I felt like I did, but I'll do more.
And also, you can get I have a camera. You can get a camera. You don't have to do the Zoom camera.
Is this not on Zoom camera?
But I have you. This is okay. Let me show you the difference. So this is my camera, and then this is my laptop camera.
Whoa, my brain, come to Glendale and teach me your ways. I don't know what's happening, but you look great. Yeah, go back. That also looks like a sex device of some sort, like the red. I don't know what's happening. Wow, thank you. No, now oh, there she is. She's back in school. She's back on her presidential campaign.
Yeah.
So what I was saying, though, is not only have you taken your incredible expertise, background as an actor into podcasting, but speaking of video, what I've been loving is your stand-up clips, which are, you're doing like smart comedy, though. Like you are like, here's the thing. I think a lot of people can be out here doing podcasts, doing comedy and whatever, but you are very funny. Bonus hole is your, yep, there she goes with the, You gotta talk to me about the comedy. Did you always want to do comedy?
Oh, this is so hard. Okay, so I just started comedy in May when the writer's strike happened. And I started because a friend of mine, Phinia, she had a comedy club called The Nook on Melrose, which it was in its last month in May. And I said, I haven't come out and supported you the way I feel like I needed to support you. So let me support you in this last month. And I said, I'm going to do open mics there. And I did open mics there. I paid for everyone I went to. And I had previously did a masterclass course online with RuPaul. And RuPaul said he always wanted to be.
You mean a masterclass like the platform masterclass?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, online. In this masterclass, RuPaul said that he always wanted to be like a Prince type of musician, wearing feminine clothing, but being a musical act. And the more he put on feminine clothing, he found himself in drag. And people said, I love that. Do that. And he said that his job as an artist is not to negotiate that with people. Like if people want to see you doing something, do it. And that's why he is now RuPaul, the queen of drag. And that is why I have continued to do comedy, because people just come up to me, comedians, audience members, doesn't matter like what their demo is, it's all different types of people. And they come up to me and they just say, you are so funny.
You really are.
Even though I don't like comedy, I don't watch stand-up comics. I watch a couple, but it's not something that I'm necessarily like that excited by. I like anime. And I'm just so weirdo.
Dude, what are you even talking? How did we get to anime? Isn't it like anime? It's anime?
Because I'm learning Japanese. I'm just pronouncing it the correct way. It's anime.
She said the correct way. Got it.
So yeah, I'm just like a weirdo. But anyway, like I don't necessarily like love comedy. Like that isn't like the thing that I like love to watch, but I do love doing it. And because people love that for me, I just like, okay, well, let me bring you more. And I have a rule. I will not ever, and hold me to this, I will never go learn from like a comedy teacher. Like I don't want to do what I did with I don't want to do what I did with my acting with my comedy. Because with acting, I let all these different people shape me. And I let all these different people, tell me that like this part of my craft isn't good enough or that part of my craft isn't good enough. And the only people that I'm listening to is my audience. That is it.
Well, it's working. It's very funny. I mean, I think maybe because you're just doing it. I mean, there's nothing. Speaking of cringy, I find sometimes in the quote comedy space, this cringy element where it's like, yeah, man, like we're comics, like we eat. And I'm like doing this weird voice. I don't know why it sounds very white, straight male, because a lot of comedy is that. But I know quite a bit of like queer female identifying comedians who behave this way too. But it's all like, yeah, you like either do comedy, you don't do comedy. And you got to like go to the shows every night. You got to like take notes and like, and I find that so cringy.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're doing the antithesis of that, which is you're just talking about things that are funny to you.
Uh-huh.
And from what I've seen, it's typically a lot of your life and how, or actually I'd love to hear from you. I don't want to tell you what your sets are, but what I love about it and what I've really taken away from it is like, I just love how you talk about your own experience and kind of, you're sort of like, I mean, it's very smart. I feel like you're making fun of how people perceive other people, and sometimes that's you, but sometimes that's other people, or sometimes that's other things. Is that true, or like, am I wrong?
I take a lot of inspiration. First of all, just as a transgender woman, I would never try to like run with the boys, right? So I've seen a lot of other cis women, and I know a couple trans women who try to like fit in with the guys, but like who I am as a woman and like, my femininity is something I would never compromise. And I mean, I just couldn't, people have definitely maybe tried to in the past. So I look at people like Z-Way who, has, when she did her show, just maintained all of this femininity and what people see as like frivolous. And I just try to keep that, even when I'm talking about things that are, sexual or stuff like that. So that's the first part. And then also, I just know that like people are going to find me funny. Like, I mean, I know that people are going to find, when I say people are going to find me funny, they're going to find, if someone's going to find me funny, it's going to be because I'm being true to who I am. And there's something that you said in our interview is that you said, I found out that the best character I could ever play would be myself. And I thought that was so, you did. And I thought that was so inspiring. I'm clipping it. I'm putting it everywhere.
Take it.
I'm putting it on a t-shirt.
Merch.
It's amazing. And so that is something that I've definitely applied to my comedy, is just being myself and not feeling like I have to put on an artifice in order to like, I don't have to pretend to be Cat Williams or whomever, even though, or Robin Williams, like those types of that type of positioning is very funny, but like people say that I'm funny all the time. So I don't have to try to be something I'm not. And then I think what I'm doing, and it is really interesting to hear someone analyze my comedy,
oh God,
because
observing, not analyzing, observing.
Sure, observe and notating. I think that my mind, when I'm making it, I'm within it. I'm making it from within. And I'm not looking at like how it will be perceived. What I am doing is that I'm following a basic comedic structure, which is like setup and then surprise, or setup and reversal. And then just saying honestly outlandish things with
You're saying some real, I don't even know if they're out. I mean, yeah, they're outlandish, but they're true. Like, it's very funny.
Yeah. And I guess just what's the other thing? And just a really strong POV. Someone had said like what they really liked about my comedy when I auditioned for Flappers. And I have a show on the November 15th at the Flappers, and which is Jay Leno's comedy club in Burbank. And what they were saying was, what they liked about me is that I came on stage and I said that my POV is that I'm a transgender woman. And then I started talking about all the different things that kind of happened in my life and my viewpoint. And he was like, I like that. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Are there have you met a lot of trans comics? I don't know if that's like a whole subgenre that I mean, I know one, but I don't know many.
Who?
Ron Funches. It's not Ron Funches. Ron Funches had this person on their podcast, and now I'm forgetting. And I really liked the interview. I listened. I'm gonna send it to you right now.
What's their name?
I'm telling you right now, I forgot. Look, this is called Do Your Research, Liz, before you interview someone who's amazing at doing interviews on Get Better Podcast. Hold on 1 second. Maybe y'all need to do a collab. I don't know. Maybe not, just because you're both trans. Who knows? Pink Fox.
Yeah, I know Pink Fox. And I went to a lot of Pink Fox's comedy shows,
Okay.
Before the strike and for a long time. And so I love Pink Fox. And I asked her if she would do my birthday show. That's when I first taped comedy for the first time. And I had recently went to one of her shows before then, because she's always like inviting me out. Comics are always going to be inviting you to something. And so I asked her, and she was like, sorry, I'm busy. And then
okay, so we hate Pink. You love Pink Fox. I hate Pink Fox because I'm a router guy. You want me to call Pink Fox? I'll call her. I'll get.
No, we don't hate pink box. I would love to, I feel like, I've showed up for her a lot in the past. And now that I'm in this space, I really haven't heard from her. And maybe that's just because she's super busy,
I hate everyone.
it's because she's
I hate
super
everyone.
busy. No,
Yay.
but phones work both ways, right? So like after, she wasn't able to do my birthday show, I could have reached back out and said like, hey, what's up? Like, what are you doing? And I haven't done that either. So yeah, but I love Pink. She is definitely really successful in this space, particularly as a Black trans woman. I don't see many Black trans women as a stand-up comic. I do see a lot of white trans comics. I do see a couple of comics of, of other races, but not Black women, not Black trans women.
No, neither do I. That's why, I mean, no. What's your feeling on like queer comedy as a genre?
I love it. And the reason I love it is because I think that people like Dylan Adler and Pink Fox, are both really funny. And I'm able to kind of really see where they move and where they go. And there's something that Dylan Adler said in one of his comedy. He goes, "Hi, faggots." And that was really inspiring for a joke that I wrote. I just write stuff when I'm like around my house or whatever. And my joke is like, I'm what the transgender community calls AFAB, assigned fag at birth. And are there any other fags in the audience?
Oh boy, this is what I'm saying. She out here naughty, naughty, naughty.
So I'm like, oh, that's where we're going. I'm like, oh, Dylan, Dylan, that's what you're saying. And so like, if Dylan is saying that, then I can like play off of that and build on that. And I don't have to like build everything whole cloth or kind of know like, oh, is it okay to say that? Or is it not okay? Because like other people have done a lot of the like market kind of research for me. And then I'm able to just kind of, build on it because nothing is new under the sun.
Fair enough. You talk a little bit about sex work in your comedy.
Girl!
I recently saw that you have joined OnlyFans, which I love, which I support. I recently had a friend of mine named Michelle Battersbury on this show. She created a platform similar to OnlyFans. We love it. We want everyone to be making money in a safe environment, and I want people to be cashing checks and taking coins. Are you excited about being on OnlyFans?
She really did not do her research. I said, I am starting an OnlyFans at 50K.
I saw that, but I didn't get it. Oh, like, we have to get to 50K followers.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate myself. I don't have, I saw it and then I was like, oh, everybody has an OnlyFans. I can't say who I just talked to about them starting their OnlyFans because they need to announce it. But like, you don't want to have an OnlyFans, or we have to wait till 50K?
So we have to.
So I didn't do my research. Apparently, I also don't have OnlyFans on my phone because I'm like, you go to the OnlyFans and it's like nothing's there. I have to like pay for it, and I'm respectfully not like trying to pay. Well, whatever.
I thought you support workers. Support with dollars.
I do support sex workers. I've had many of my friends are sex workers. I have no shame. It's the oldest profession in the world. I've had many on this show. We love sex work. We love consensual, safe sex work. However, I didn't download to see. I just was like, oh, good. She's like starting an OnlyFans. So look at me. I'm horrified. No research done.
But no. No. You're great. I'm happy you brought this up. Let's talk about it. Because the plan is to start it. Is to start an OnlyFans, but at 50K. It doesn't really make sense for me to start an OnlyFans now, because I'm still ratcheting up all the other content, but I am doing sex work though. I'm with the sugar daddies and, the sugar daddies.
She rolled up in a Tesla, folks. I was like, okay, Quei, she rich. She rich.
I got the Tesla with the acting money.
Oh, okay. She got her own Tesla. Listen, my house is so old, I couldn't even have a fucking Tesla or any electrical vehicle if I wanted to, because I'd have to redo my whole electrical panel, which I can't afford. So I'm out here just doing regular gas until, she can upgrade her electrical panel.
Until the renovation.
But okay, so you got your own Tesla. Excuse me. But okay, so you're doing sex work. sugar daddies. Yes. Love that. I love that.
So
Multiple sugar
I
daddies
don't.
or one? You
Multiple.
don't.
I don't love it. No, not at all. I feel because this is what I was doing sex work, before I was working as an actor, right? I was doing sex work, and then Sesta and Fosta happened, and that pushed a lot of sex workers back out onto the street. And that pushed me into a 9 to 5, which was good to see that I like when I got the 9 to 5, I could no longer live alone. I had to have a roommate. Like I had to rent a room. Money was still very tight. I was still in the payday loan cycle. So it wasn't like I got a 9 to 5 and I was just a living girl. It was like I was a secretary. You know what I mean? I was front desk, director of first impressions is what they called it at Keller Williams. And I was
That's a director of first. I'm dead. That's amazing, actually.
No fee.
Dead.
I was part of the executive team, but yeah. So I mean, look, it's LA, it's expensive, the whole deal. And I was going to school at the same time. The plan was to do nursing, be a nurse by night, and be an actor by day. And I didn't even get that far. I was doing the prereqs, but then at some point, I had already done top model and a couple of things here and there. I had already filmed a show that's a movie that would later be on Netflix from Blumhouse, which was my first movie. But it just hadn't come out. And so I was just kind of figuring it out. This was 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, this was 2017. So I was just figuring it out. And so, yeah, sex work was no longer an option because of fucking Congress. And yeah. And so things were really hard. It was a struggle bus. 2019, my career really takes off. 2020, my career really takes off. And, I level up. And so now it's been from and I probably stopped doing sex work the end of 2018, completely was done. So 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and then most of 2023, I really worked a job that wasn't acting. And I hadn't done sex work in so long. And so my resume is an actor's resume. And I'm really out here in the lurch. I'm out here not knowing how to make money because I have this career that is transferable to things like comedy and things like other types of content creation and on-camera talent, but those things don't make money right away, or typically they don't make money right away. It's something that you have to really build towards over years, like I did with my acting, It popped off in 2019. It didn't start in 2019. So yeah, I'm really figuring that out, and I got to get the bills paid. I'm driving for
of course.
I'm driving for Uber. I'm driving for Lyft. I'm dealing with these sugar daddies, but these freaking men are cheap. And a thing that I don't like about sex work is that all of it is based on your race. So much of it is based on your race.
Sure.
If you're seen as exotic, you might get a little more money your way. If you have hair that, isn't kinky curly, isn't nappy, you get a little more money comes your way. But these men are so disrespectful, and it's really tough out here. And honestly, I've only seen 2 sugar daddies since I've started back again. And I was speaking to this guy. Okay, let me tell you what happened. You're gonna gag. And I talked to my therapist about this. I was speaking to this guy. His name is Michael. And like you said, ain't no fucking alleged, because this is what happened. I was speaking to this guy, Michael, who I wasn't speaking on any sugar daddy stuff. This is a guy who's been a fan of mine for a long time. He had come to my comedy show and different stuff like that. And
he's the older, younger?
We're around the same age.
Okay.
We're around the same age. And he would get at me and he would holler at me. And I was like, it's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen.
Okay.
But that didn't stop him from trying. And so I was speaking to him before I went on Seeking and all of that stuff. And I was like, hey, I'm looking for a job. I was speaking to him in person because I ran into him at a trans strip club night, and people invited me out. I wasn't performing. I was friends with 5 after a comedy show. And he was like, oh, I'm actually a job recruiter. I work for this place. I work for that place. And we were in the DMs. He was like, yeah, you should do copywriting. You should be a copywriter. He was like, you're so funny. Like, put this together, put that together.
Which, by the way, true.
You think I should be a copywriter?
I did a lot of copywriting to make money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will definitely do it.
Yeah, it's not a ton of money, but I used to help people with their websites and their social because I needed fucking money.
Okay.
And I had 1,000 restaurant jobs, and you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna bring that in. So he sends me a link, and it's a link about this guy talking about how to copyright. And not only is he an Andrew Tate stan, the guy in the video he sends me, but he went through Andrew Tate's masculinity program. Just shook. Just off that, I'm shook. So then I'm like, okay, yikes.
My God, what?
I know. I'm like, yikes. And anyway. Yikes, yeah. And then so I'm like, maybe he didn't watch the video, but whatever. So anyway, I'm just trying to make some money. Long story short, he ends up calling my fucking Google Voice number that's like listed on my sex worker shit. And he's like, hey, this is Michael, da, 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 da. And I don't know who this is. And I'm always like, okay, send me a photo. I need to know what you look like. I do a whole verification thing. And it's the fucking guy. And it's him. It's the guy who is literally supposedly supposed to be helping me with a copywriting job. He sees me. And mind you, all this is happening at the same time when I'm literally on my Instagram, like, I am fucking drowning. I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. Like, fucking SAG and the AMPTP is fucking me over. They're sending me dues when we be on strike for,
which is crazy. Which I do want to talk about. Which is like really, really. I mean, and that's like the larger thing, right? Is like you're being barred from working, and you were building a career, and it just stops. And I think people aren't talking about that enough, quite frankly. But continue. All right. So Michael hits you up.
So he hits me up, and I just block him. And then
for sure.
And then he hits me up again he makes a whole new number. And I just block.
Stop it.
I swear. I just block him again a second time. He then calls me from a third number. I'm like, enough. And I go to my DMs, and he's messaged me as we've been talking about trying to get me a job in copywriting and working for his company that he's a job recruiter for, the company he works for. He goes, hey, sorry to be a nuisance, but I'm just following up on coming to fuck you. It was never going to happen.
Oh, God. I'm sorry.
With money or without. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna.
I don't, you know what? Men, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't really have anything to do with them anymore.
My therapist said that shit was predatory.
It is.
It is.
No, it's like scary. It's like terrible. And if he ever comes to one of your shows, you have to like tell security and they have to walk him out.
Absolutely.
And then you call 911. And they
First of all, that's because
LAPD.
I love that you think there's any security at the shows that I'm doing. It's like under a fucking tiki lamp somewhere.
Okay, well, whatever. You know what? For the future.
For the future. Oh, for sure.
So do you have a lot of other friends in SAG that are having to like either do sex work or go back to sex work or go back to certain jobs or leaving LA or?
There are trans women that I know that are in sex work who aren't just, catch this. It's not just actors who are out here doing sex work. I know a showrunner, a whole executive, a whole entertainment executive who's out here doing sex work to survive.
No, it's a real, here's the thing. It's funny. I was just in New York and, you know, people are like, oh yeah, you know, how's work for you? I'm like, fucking terrible. How is that even possible? How are you getting affected? I was like, let me break this all down. I'm getting affected. My wife, who primarily sees actors and writers as her clients, affected. The person that is the security person on a set or like somebody driving catering, the actor, like hair and make it has affected the whole town, but the people it's affecting worse now is obviously the actors in such a awful, 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 greedy, horrible way. It's like sickening to me. I just want it to be over with, quite frankly. I obviously want the actors to get what they deserve, and they're grossly underpaid. And I think people have such a warped reality of Hollywood and actors and how people make money. Back in the day, before streaming, like you could do, you know, be a guest star on a show and still see a little bit of money from that. You know, you would do it a lot if you were lucky and you were working quite a bit, but you would get a check for like how $1,000 a year. You know what I mean? Like for whatever your day, even as a day rate or whatever it ended up being, right? And if you were lucky and you got as a series regular, or if the show was syndicated in a lot of markets, like obviously those things would change. But now I'm just like, it breaks my heart because I'm like, and then like the TikTokers getting acting roles kills me even more. Like it really feels like a broken system and a broken profession. Do you agree?
I agree, right? I think an actor is up against a lot in a regular season when there is no strike. And I've been able to get like one job a year that can pay the bills. So maybe that's American Horror Story. Maybe that's a show whatever, I said it. Maybe that's the Ryan Murphy show, or maybe that's a show I do with Tyler Perry that I'm able to do once a year, right? And I'm able, and and I can stretch that out for a year. And that's typically what I do. I like take those resources, I stretch them out for a year until I get to my next job. And I was saving as well. I really wanted to buy a house, and I still will buy a house. I want to buy I will. Yeah, I will. I know you are on this journey, and like I look up to you so much because you're able to like.
I'm also old. I'm old.
I know, but it's something for me to look forward to, right? To look forward to like.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, and like I would be okay. I mean, I want more, but I would like honestly, I would be fine with just like a 1-bedroom house. Like I'm a single person, and just to like have that, and to not have to worry about the instability of like the renting housing market.
Sure.
All the bullshit that comes with it, like me and my fucking building manager getting into it, and just all the fucking shenanigans. And so, I was saving for that, but not only did I have to touch what I had to stretch for that whole year, because it has been a year since I did the Ryan Murphy show, but I had to go into my Roth. I had to go into my investments. I had to, I really have seen my savings dwindle. So much so that I'm like, okay, girl, you have to do sex work and drive Uber. It's not like, it's like, you know what I mean? And like start applying for jobs. Like it's definitely really, really tough out here. And it sucks because it was like, I was really close to making something happen.
But that doesn't mean you can't pick it back up. You have a lot of connections. You've done a lot. I think your podcast is so great and is such a great calling card for something. Like you've been doing the comedy. Like you might be now starting to look at different roles. Because I mean, I assume, and maybe I'm wrong to assume, but when the strike ends, will you go back into acting immediately?
I will go back into acting.
Okay, thank God. Because I mean.
Yes. So I will definitely go back into acting. The only thing is like, I've been really outspoken right now. And I wonder, how people, and I've also like said things that, right. Like I've been like saying the N-word, and I've been saying fag, and I've been saying this and that. And
you mean in your comedy? In
my comedy, right? But I've also have spoken against the union. I've criticized the union leadership. And again, I will say, I am not against the union. I am the union. The union is not people who were able to put themselves into a position of power. It is all of us, a collective. And I believe I have the right to, I believe I am just in critiquing us, particularly when I feel like we're being harmed. But I'm interested to see like what is going to happen. We have seen in our industry, a lot of people lose work opportunities who have spoken on what is happening in Palestine. We have seen people be demoted or whatever. And so I'm curious to see how that all shakes out when everything, I mean, we've also just seen people also curse out the AMPTP and curse out CEOs. So I'm interested to see like what happens, you know, and then also like,
Me too.
yeah. And then also what happens when like I'm out here talking about, yeah, I was doing sex work and other people were doing sex work and I'm talking about starting an OnlyFans. Like, how does all of this play into, you know, the work that you book? I'm curious to see like what happens with all of that.
Well, listen, I think it's every time. I think people, you know, there was a lot of people before us who were talking about having abortions or like maybe they had HIV or maybe they stole something. I mean, you have Julia Fox out here talking about constantly how she like stole hella shit from Bloomingdale's and Bergdorf's and like, you know, whatever. And again, she's a white woman, so she comes with a lot of privilege and she's talking about some pretty buck wild shit though. You know what I mean? In mainstream interviews like Good Morning America, Vanity Fair, Lie Detector. Like it's not like random. You know what I mean? And she's still booking shows. I mean, you have Billy Porter talking about living with HIV for 20 plus years. You have people, I mean, I don't know. I hear you. I think a lot of people have made a lot of quote confessions and over the years it's like what we all think is shocking or less shocking. I know a lot of people who do sex work. I think the great thing about OnlyFans is that it kind of showed for a lot of us like motherfuckers need to be making money. I also like look at some of these girls on Instagram who have like 5 million followers and they're damn near motherfucking naked. And in my mind, I'm like, I hope you are making these motherfuckers pay you. Pay you. Somebody just asked me to show them my belly button on Cameo today. And guess what? You know what my wife said? She said, no. Don't try to trick my wife into doing sex work for like $10 on Cameo because I'm not really famous, so my Cameo prices are pretty low. You better pay me real money to see my belly button. You know what I mean?
Your wife better pimp you out.
I know. I hope so. I try to make a sunroom of my feet. No money. Nobody cared.
What's a sunroom?
That's my friend's app. It's like kind of a more like, quote, classier OnlyFans.
Oh.
But I did a whole one of my feet. Nobody cared.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. So interesting. Yeah.
So I don't think there's anything. Listen, I think like, again, I remember back in the day when Playboy was a big deal. Now, like, who gives a shit? Fucking Kim Kardashian showed her puss all over fucking Playboy and she's doing just fine. It's like, whatever. To me personally. However, I'm with you. It'll be really interesting to see who works, who doesn't, who has criticized CEOs publicly and is fine. And, you know, is Ted Sarandos going to hold everyone accountable? I mean, listen, we saw with Dave Chappelle, not a lot really. I mean, he's just fine. A lot of people were very offended by his comedy. A lot of people didn't want to work at Netflix or they didn't want to, you know, subscribe to Netflix or, you know, there was a lot of protesting happening. But like, you know, I think people thought Dave Chappelle would be, quote, canceled, and he certainly was not. He's also famous, but
yeah, I think there is like an insulation of power that you're insulated when you have power, be that fame, whiteness, being a man, like whatever it is. Yeah, for sure. For some of us that are kind of just like down the line, right? Like there are some certain actors who have, you know, who are really upset with me because I've criticized the union. You know, so I don't know how other people feel about that. I think a writer may have like chimed in as well. And he was, because someone said like they were doing the same thing with the WGA. Because I was saying like because SAG sends us this stuff and they say, don't believe anything you read online. Only believe it if it comes from us. And I said, that is giving Scientology to me. That's literally what they do in Scientology. They say, when people say Scientology is a cult on Google, that is suppressive stuff that is sent to, you know, attack the church. I only believe what's happening internally. I have enough media literacy to understand an angle or to understand,
Yeah,
when
for sure.
something is like tilted, right? Like I'm someone who doesn't read the New York Times or subscribe to the New York Times because I understand how things can be twisted, to more of a liberal and, anti-trans perspective.
Yep.
It's the same reason I don't watch MSNBC, which I wanted to talk to you. By the way, let me say this. Oh my God.
Am I in trouble?
No.
I don't really watch MSNBC either, but let's hear it.
Let me say this. So I recently saw Amanda Seales perform at Patreon Creator Fest, and she was amazing. Great comic. I love her. I actually am going to continue to study her because she's someone who went from acting to comedy to content creation, and I think she's done an amazing job at it. And it was interesting because she has been arguing back and forth because there are a lot of young people or younger people who will not be voting for Joe Biden in 2024. And they're either just not going to vote at all, or they're going to write in Cornel West. I didn't vote for Joe Biden in 2020. I definitely won't be voting for him now. And it was, and what she was saying was that, it's really important to vote. And she said the reason why we don't want to vote is because we were so privileged to have the first person we ever to vote for was Obama.
Mm-hmm.
At that moment, the lights just went on. We believe Obama is one of the most corrupt, one of the most insane politicians to ever hold office. Someone who yes, leftist. Barack Obama, who deported all of these people, who funded war, who was flip-flopped on so many positions. No, we are not liberals. It's like, I feel like the entitlement to the liberals' entitlement to a leftist vote is insane to me. It's like, we do not want liberal people to hold any power. We only want people who have a true leftist politic to hold power. And I would never co-sign, and there's so many other young people or people who hold my leftist type of politic, who would never help, align ourselves with anything like that. I would much rather see actual progress. When people say, you have to vote for the lesser of two evils, that other evil would have to be Satan, his white devil motherfucking self.
But are you concerned at all if Donald Trump somehow becomes president again? Would that be concerning to you?
I would never want a liberal to hold any power.
Interesting.
I would never want a liberal to hold any power.
Even with Republicans somehow really going after like trans, queer, women's rights. Whatever.
It's not whatever. Obama had the opportunity to do exactly what Trump did. He had the opportunity to institute Merrick Garland in the Supreme Court. If you really care about women's reproductive rights, let's see it.
Right.
Obama could have influenced Ruth Bader Ginsburg to step down. These are liberal people who have held on to positions of power for so long. Liberalism is what allowed for Roe v. Wade to be overturned. It is not a leftist ideal. Liberals have been in power, and that is what they've done with it. To me, that is not a solution. And aligning ourselves with that, leftists aligning ourselves with that just would not make sense. It just wouldn't. And
is there anyone that's currently not like trying to go for either party or third party nomination that you think has?
Oh no, third party is not that's a pipe dream. What I want is for liberals to lose all power, and for leftist candidates like Cori Bush, Ilhan Omar, AOC to be able to run and to fill out these, to really just take over the Democratic Party. And I feel like if we're going to, it is our job as leftists to just show up for those candidates and those candidates only. But if we keep showing up for, the Nancy Pelosi's of the world and the Chuck Schumers of the world, we're just going to keep getting more of that. I guess just hopefully younger and not about to,
Die.
Die in office? Die in Feinstein? Dying in office?
Listen, I recently have become more involved in politics as a whole. A political PAC versus a party, which is more comfortable for me, looking at how I can support predominantly more queer women, non-binary, and folks of color, because a lot of that all is tied together. But I have never felt more discouraged, sad, scared, ever for America. I think you are not wrong. I think that the blind liberalism, but also the blind conservatives movement, is very scary. I think that I also own the fact that I grew up in California with a ton of privilege in a place where I didn't have to worry, or I wasn't confronted with a lot of race in what I saw, what I knew to be as a city kid with hella different friends running around a city, having food on the table, two parents. I had a lot of privilege. So I wasn't thinking about those issues such as gender equality or racism or even LGBTQIA rights. I saw people dying around me of AIDS and I was like, wow, that sucks. And I knew that some people didn't have, I guess as a kid, I'm like, maybe not everybody has the same rights, but it wasn't something that I thought of because I didn't see and I wasn't affected by those. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't know. I have Black friends, Asian friends, Mexican friends. I didn't get it. So I wasn't even seeing people that, I'm just being, you have to be honest. What kills me the most is when I speak particularly to white women who are like, I don't know, everything was fine. And I'm like, no, nothing was fine. It wasn't affecting you because that's the place that you came from, right? That being said, I am now in a situation where I'm like, fuck, dude. Everyone has got their, no one has their shit together, period, point blank. And I think if we're even looking at the awful things that are happening in all of a sudden we have TikTokers that are fucking, they know everything that's ever happened in Israel and I'm like, what the fuck, you guys? I do think the internet has made it so that everybody has a voice, and that is not necessarily a great thing. It is, right? Freedom of speech, but at the same time, it's what we're seeing, what we're being served. You mentioned the New York Times, super, very problematic. You know what I mean? I think it's
what I will add about TikTok, though, is that there are some people that are there on the ground in the Middle East who are speaking about what is happening there. And so if you're going to listen to someone, maybe the people and you can hear the bombs going off in the background.
Yeah, of course.
I think those people might be a little credible. But yeah, others, you might want to check your resources, check your, I don't know, your whatevers.
Your facts.
Your fact checkers.
I do like that you just slid that in. You're really running for president. You have the background. You're talking about who you're voting for on election day, no less, on November 7th.
Oh,
Here we are.
Funny. It is election day. First of all, don't make this into the sexual podcast that you do, talking about sliding in there, please. And I have a whole sexual edit of our episode.
Why? You forced that on me. I never spoke about sex. I didn't say a word. I just went in there. I didn't talk about acting, I guess. I don't know. God knows.
I have
all I know is that I really need my health insurance and I really need my job. I've worked for almost 20 years to get this job. Please don't make me lose my job. That's all I care about.
Okay. And you messaged me. You said you're very nervous about our interview that's coming out.
I am very nervous about it.
But other stuff of you saying eating and...
Oh, I don't care about that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I eat pussy. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's pretty well known.
Okay, if you hate the short I put out, or the short vertical content I put out, just let me know, and
Oh God.
Yes.
I love you. I think you're so talented. I think you're so smart. I am sorry that you feel like you were like building something in the acting world and then the strikes like stopped. I don't think it stopped. I'm going to say it's paused. It's paused for everybody. Don't forget about all the hard work you were doing and all the fucking time you've had to create your own content. Because I think Amanda Seales, listen, she been working real fucking hard for a real fucking long time. And now I think what's great about, from at least for me as a viewer, like she does what the fuck she wants to do.
Yeah.
So, and look, you're only in the 4th grade. So you've got time.
Thank you, Onesan. That means big sis in Japanese.
Oh my, this one over here. I did not expect that interview to take all those twists and turns. But again, as I told you, Quei is something else. Make sure you check out Series Regular. Make sure you watch our episode. And make sure you keep your eyes and heart and mind open. I know I do. From everything between what I like to watch to what I like to read to listening to all political sides. Make sure you check out my Patreon. Make sure you check out Quei's Patreon so that we can keep bringing you amazing content.